Heavy metal rock.
Global mind.
God, did you see something over there in the room? Touch my skin, can you feel the air? My legs are frozen up, not breathing in enough. Oh my God, my own mind is a nightmare.
So I'm here today talking to Jim Lawton from Electric Enemy. Hi Jim, how are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm absolutely great, thank you. So, well, it's a very exciting year for you so far.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
tell me everything. A new single coming out very soon?
Yes, that's right. So we've got The Right Thing, which is coming out soon, and that's the kind of introduction to the second EP, which is called The Dark, which is named after the fifth single, which is coming out. But let's start at the beginning, like every good story. So The Right Thing and this whole EP. So basically, there was an EP before called You, and there were 5 tracks on there. And what that was dealing with was kind of emotions and the kind of various things that you experience kind of growing up and all that kind of stuff. And this second EP it's a lot darker, deals with the tougher emotions, and deals with maybe the emotions which we would find slightly less easy to admit that we felt. So for example, The Right Thing is literally about that feeling which I certainly know I had as a teenager, which was kind of, I'm trying to do everything right, I'm trying to be a good person, where's my pat on the back, where's my Blue Peter badge, all that kind of thing. And even though that's not the healthiest way to look at good deeds, I know now, I thought it would be a really fun kind of thing to kind of get into, just this duality kind of between feeling like you're being a kind of Samaritan and a good person, but it kind of not really making any sense when on the inside you're kind of swearing, effing and blind. Actually, are we swearing on this? Is that all right? I don't
you
have
can
to
swear on this. Feel free.
It's kind of just the you want to say that you're doing the right thing, but then on the inside you're saying motherfucker, which is basically the whole post-chorus.
And it really is. It's a big ballsy song, isn't it? It's hard hitting. It says it as it is, but it's a brilliant song, isn't it?
Thank you so much. Cheers.
And the video. Tell me about the video. The video created by your partner, Violet, who's also in Electric Enemy.
That is absolutely right. So Violet is a very talented individual and is starting to learn more and more. Is often right, but I still fight. I still fight the good fight. But basically, Violet is first and foremost an amazing actor. She's been in various different things, including Anatomy of a Scandal with Sienna Miller and Rupert Friend.
Oh, wow.
She was the au pair in there, so she's got a couple one-on-one scenes with them. And she was also one of the main stunt doubles for Alicia Vikander in Tomb Raider. And she can play the guitar. Yeah, no, seriously. Yeah, she is Lara Croft.
So basically. You are not going to mess around, Violet, are you?
No, she's the one. So we never kill spiders or anything like that in the house, but she's the one who deals with it. I kind of just point and say, help.
Lara Croft, sort it out.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. I mean, come on. And so basically she also plays she sings very well. In fact, there's a couple of songs which I co-wrote and co-produced with Example and his team, and Violet's voice is featured on it, and she sings wonderfully. But in Electric Enemy, she is a head-banging guitar playing monster, basically. And also on top of that, I mean, this is getting ridiculous now, but also on top of that, it turns out she's really amazing at doing music videos. And what she's done is the last couple, Shame, Fuck It, she did the filming for, and You. And what she's done with The Right Thing is she's got a very big I think that she wants the big budget film. In fact, this is what she always says, is that she wants to make the big budget film rather than kind of taking it down a notch and trying to do it that way. She just does everything she can uh, with a smaller budget to kind of get the results. And what I think we've achieved with The Right Thing, which was all her basically, is just this painstakingly precise and long to film video where she is literally printing ink letters on my head individually so that it spells out words, coming up with these amazing, I don't even know if it's origami, maybe it's something like that, like all these folding papers. I mean, it's just, I mean, yeah. And as a perfectionist as well, she just wants to make sure everything is kind of edited very, very well. So yeah, I'm very, very lucky to have her a whole 3 steps away at any one time.
Oh, that is lovely. What's it like being in a band together, being with your partner? I think most people probably watching this interview would think, well, spending this much time with your significant other.
Yeah.
What's it like?
Yeah, do you know what? It's great. And actually, so she only kind of joined the situation during our headline tour at the end of last year.
Right.
And basically, it was brilliant. Just, she just kind of took to it like a duck to water. She, as a performer, ends up moving a lot, basically. She performs,
Yeah.
And I think that I kind of ended up resting on my laurels at one point and just kind of thought it's like I was moving a bit. And then I'd look over at her and be like, oh, right, okay, well, I've got to step up the game. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's honestly, it's fantastic having her around. And also my best mate, John, is on bass. We were in bands together many years ago, back when it was when indie was all the rage. And yeah, I know, right?
Heady days.
Oh, the heady days of indie and jangly guitars and everyone trying to sound like they're from Brighton. But
it is so true.
Wow. But yeah, no, so doing that, and also with Roddy Bailey on drums at the moment. Basically, the guys are, it's just so much fun to go on tour with your friends, so especially because I do everything where I am right now is my home studio, so everything that you hear is done right here into this microphone that is blurred out in kind of quite a interesting way. But yeah, no, everything happens here. So it is nice to kind of share the experience and the music with, some of my closest friends, really.
Oh, how amazing. And you write all of your own stuff.
Yeah.
You produce all your own stuff.
Yeah.
And other people's as well, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, I've been involved and lucky enough to be involved with some brilliant artists, ranging from some of the bigger artists like Example and Todd Edwards, who was like, he's been featured on several Daft Punk albums and stuff. He's like the godfather of garage music is what they call him, because I love all kinds of music, and everything from like reggaeton to soul to more rock to a lot of dance music. Actually, it's mainly dance music. Yeah, I mean, yesterday, for example, there was a brilliant writer friend of mine who came over, and she's pitching things to some of the major labels who deal with some of the bigger kind of dance acts. So she just came over, had a laugh, wrote a couple of songs, sent them off. So yeah, fingers crossed,
Just like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's that easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, it's funny because I used to get things like writer's block. I mean, knock on wood and all that kind of thing. But I think just the more you do it, the more you kind of find ways to put yourself into a sort of vulnerable, open to the inspirational elements position. And you're able to just kind of get there a bit faster. And I think the main thing is just, there's a certain element of just not really caring that much. I think if you care too much, you'll be writing the same song for over a year, which is why doing what we've been doing, which is releasing a new single once, now it's going to be once every 4 weeks. Before it was once every 4 to 6, which is a bit of a rush. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's
once every 4 weeks.
Yeah. And I mean, I love the challenge, and I love the fact that there's a date where everything needs to be done,
Yes.
because it just, I think it's, we can't get too attached to the things that we create, because it's
No.
just, they're meant to go out there, and sometimes the more raw they are, the better. Like some of
Yeah.
the best, songs of all time have all sorts of, white noise, or they're very badly
Mm.
record, quote unquote badly recorded. But
It's true.
yeah, I do. I think there's a charm
Mm.
to the that kind of a process.
Yes. And in a lot of your music, you've been really open, haven't you, about talking about your own mental health issues.
Yeah,
And I think that's something which is amazing because that allows other people to really relate to you, doesn't it? And I think
yeah,
particularly as a man writing about mental health issues. And I know when we spoke previously, we were talking a bit about how men are often encouraged to, man up, just get on with it. But in actual fact, the kind of music you write is entirely the opposite to that, isn't it? It's raw, it's real, and it's about, owning those feelings.
yeah. No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, kind of throughout my life, kind of, I think I've always struggled with. I mean, well, I don't know. Struggled is kind of an interesting word. I've kind of always lived with various mental health
Mm,
issues, kind of
yeah.
ranging from psychotic breaks to manic
Mhm.
depression and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And I do think, I mean, I genuinely, I'm so grateful to a therapist who I spent a few years with, who
Mm,
really helped me out. And kind of, I think it was him, yeah, it was him actually, who said the whole point of therapy isn't to necessarily cure anything, because that's
no,
impossible. You can't promise that kind of thing, but just
no,
to be more comfortable in your own skin, basically,
yes.
because there's
Yeah.
nothing worse than not understanding why you feel
No,
the things you feel and all that kind of stuff. But
true.
I think putting that in songs, first of all, it
Mm,
feels like the most natural and most honest thing that I can do.
yes.
Um, and on top of that, I don't know. I think that there is a level of catharsis that
Mm,
listeners feel. I mean, there's no greater feeling than having a fan or someone on Instagram,
mm,
whatever, sending a private message just saying something about one of the songs, just kind of saying
yeah.
this song really helped me out of a dark time, or kind of
Oh,
really made me feel like I wasn't alone. I mean, that's
how
that's
amazing
everything.
is that?
Yeah, absolutely. It
Incredible.
really is everything. You know.
Mm. You've got a loyal fan base, haven't you?
Yes.
And tell me about that.
Yeah, it's just, I feel extremely lucky to kind of have just followers, family. I don't even know what to call them.
Mm,
Just really genuinely lovely people who, and I wonder if maybe because of some of the sort of mental health
yeah.
aspects of things, I think maybe there's a oh, what's the word I'm looking for? A kind of empathy that
Yes.
people who've been through certain things, they're not going to be super weird. But if they are a bit weird, it's in a really cool, kind of quirky way. Do
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, I mean, yeah, just, I mean, special shout out to Claire and Sarah in particular,
Mm.
who are just, who are just the best, honestly. But yeah,
Oh,
I'm so lucky to have people from all over the world who really want to listen to the music. I mean, when that Spotify Wrapped thing happened this year, just seeing like certain songs, even a few songs from the previous EP being
mhm.
kind of listed as the songs that someone listened to more than any other song. It's wild.
Tell us about that. Tell us about the situation with Spotify. Spotify. Tell us what happened
Yeah, no. So basically, at the end of the year,
there. Mhm.
artists and I think listeners as well are given their Spotify Wrapped, which is,
Yes.
for anyone who doesn't know, basically just a situation where they say, "This is what you did. We've been watching and collecting data. Just kidding. Let's frame it in a really fun way." Uh, basically, they show you kind of the songs that you've been listening to a
Mm.
lot, or kind of all that kind of stuff. And what artists on Spotify get is a breakdown of how many countries your music was played in, how many streams it got in various places,
Mhm.
the most popular song, And another thing it shows you is it lets you know how many people you were the top artist for. And just seeing it grow and grow and grow. I mean, if it was, I'd be really happy if it was one person. But the fact that
Oh,
it's like close to 1,000 is like,
amazing.
but you also kind of want to, I mean, there's an inner saboteur that kind of wants to ask just, but why? Like ABBA exists. Listen to
Oh,
that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know.
people obviously relate to your music, don't they? And music's all about emotion, isn't it? And it's all about what we relate to. And
Sure.
I'm sure that's why you are so successful. I mean, some of your stuff is just so um, stirring and driving. I mean, Shame, I love that track. An absolutely incredible track. I mean,
Thank
who
you.
can't have felt those emotions? It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah, Shame's a funny one, isn't it? I mean,
Mm,
it was just the whole idea behind Shame is the sort of I mean, for me it was growing up in a, you know, like a Catholic school, even though I wasn't baptized. I don't know
mm.
how that worked out really. I don't know why I was there. But I got the Catholic guilt anyway, which was
Oh,
great. And just kind of feeling, yeah, just like every other second you're doing something wrong. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? Which is
Mm.
very interesting. And actually, there was a video editor who did a brilliant job of a couple of other things. And he wasn't Catholic; he was of another faith.
Mhm.
And he said that he respectfully couldn't do the video for Shame
Really?
because yeah, because which I kind of at first I was like, oh, it's a shame because he did really great stuff.
Wow.
Um, but at the same time, it's I'm glad it was enough of a thing to make like a gut reaction for
Yes.
someone, you know.
Oh,
And
definitely.
Universe Working in Mysterious Ways, that's the
Mm.
first one that Violet ended
Oh,
up
yeah.
directing, and it's one of my
Yes.
favorite videos, you know. It's just
It's an
we just
amazing
walked
video.
around
It's a great
basically.
video.
Yeah.
It
No, it's
really
good fun.
is. And
Yeah.
tell me, Jerry Cantrell, Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
So you toured together. Tell me
Yeah.
all about that.
Right. Yeah. So, what maybe some people don't know is that when you put yourself forward for supports, majority of the time you don't hear anything back, basically, and which is, you know, it's just part and parcel of, you know, we all chose this career. It's what we
Yes.
get.
Yeah.
And basically, we were playing the Isle of Wight festival. We were actually
Mhm.
headlining our stage, which was really a cool moment in itself. And then the day before we left for that weekend,
Mhm.
um, we heard from them just saying, right, yep, starting next week on Tuesday, there's going to be a full European tour. And we can't have the full band. We just want acoustic. Um, and yeah, basically just do you want to do it or not? So we kind of said yes. And then we thought, oh my God, how are we going to do this? And I had this idea with my manager, Guy, who's brilliant. I'm sure we'll touch on Guy
Mhm.
again at some point. But
Sure we
we,
will.
yeah, no, I mean, he basically, we decided maybe the best
Mhm.
option would be for me to interrail on my own
Mhm.
between all of these countries. So everywhere from, you know, Switzerland to Paris to Germany to Poland to the Netherlands to, I mean, you name it, basically. And it
Oh,
was
God.
absolutely insane. And I was absolutely knackered because I wanted to stick around at the end of each gig and kind of
Of
meet
course.
people. But then I needed to afford myself like a good 3 hour window to make sure that if something
Oh,
did go wrong, I'd be able to kind of sort it out and stuff.
oh my God.
So for about a month after the tour, I was just kind of waking up at about 5 a.m. being like, I've got to leave. But I mean, what an experience. I mean, because Jerry Cantrell, first of all, probably one of the loveliest people I've ever met. His whole touring party was amazing. He had
Oh,
Tyler Bates on guitar. Tyler did music for all sorts of different things, including John Wick and Guardians
oh,
of the
okay.
Galaxy. Again,
Oh,
very successful. Couldn't have been nicer. There was
right.
Greg Picciotto, who the Dillinger Escape Plan former singer. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, and my God,
oh.
his voice was incredible. Yeah, I mean, they were the whole band were just fantastic, the
Mhm.
whole crew, and basically, yeah, I just kind of went around there every night. Tried my best to speak a little bit of the languages in each place, just basically saying,
Oh.
"Hi, I'm Jim, and I'm in a band. Sorry for my, German," or something like that. But I think the highlight of the whole tour actually was when we were playing the penultimate night. We were in the Netherlands at
Mm.
Melkweg, and the next day was going to be Shepherd's Bush Empire. And
Oh.
he actually said you can play with your whole band because it's the hometown show and all that kind of
Oh,
thing. And
wow.
basically, in the Netherlands, he said, "Hey Jim." So I'm not going to do the accent, but he said, "Hey
Maybe I
Jim."
can hear.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd quite like to go on a tour with him again. Yeah, but he said, "Hey Jim, basically we've all been talking, and you've been with us for such a long time. We've really loved having you on board. And how would you like to join us on stage tomorrow night in London and play Rooster with us?" Which
Oh,
is like, I don't know, like the I'm sure this is going to irritate someone, but kind of like the Wonderwall of
yeah,
Alice in Chains.
it is.
And I said, "Yep, yeah," without even thinking. And obviously, I knew the song. And he said, "Okay, cool. You're right. Well, we're gonna go and sound check, and then I'll bring in a couple of acoustics, and I'll teach you kind of how to play it and stuff." And I went, "Okay, yes."
Oh,
And when he went off to do his sound check, I think I can't remember who I called. I think I called Ewan, who was playing bass at the time with the band,
yeah.
who's, by the way, got this amazing band called Rat Hole. They're very,
Ah,
very, very brilliant music, punk rock, lots of swearing, very good. But I asked him, because he was a huge Alice in Chains fan, to
mhm.
basically give me a lesson over the phone before Jerry turned up. And then Jerry did turn up, and he kind of said, "Right, yeah, yeah, do it like that." And it was a very surreal moment, but I think, yeah, not quite as surreal as literally playing Rooster at Shepherd's Bush Empire with everyone, and getting the thing that I'd only really ever seen on Royal Albert Hall performances, just like, "And now we're going to introduce Johnny Marr," or something like that. So no, it was awesome. It was really, really awesome being a part of that.
Incredible. I mean, what an experience. And it's kind of like living like the two sides, isn't it? Being the rock
Yeah.
star up on stage and then jumping on the train and off you go. And then ending it all at Shepherd's Bush. I mean, such an iconic venue
And
and
it was on my
playing on
bucket
an
list.
iconic
Yeah.
track. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like bucket list for years. I'd always passed it and wanted to play there. So it was a great moment. And then afterwards, we actually had the chance to just, because they were, I can't remember where they were going the next day. I think they were supporting the Pixies somewhere.
Ah,
And yeah, we just had like a little party in their hotel lobby. Like nothing, it
oh,
wasn't, I think that the whole kind of like rock and roll,
no, TV's
let's
out
do all of that.
windows.
It's all a bit done, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's not. Someone's got to clean that up, you know. But no, it was a really lovely evening, and I mean, just an amazing way to end the tour. And I'm still in touch with a couple of guys from there.
Oh,
So yeah, I mean, just yeah, went on tour with Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains, as you do.
just wow, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's just wow. And talking of playing shows, you've got your own show coming up on the 23rd, which is the same day as you release the new single, The Right Thing, at the Old Blue Last in Shoreditch.
Yeah, so that's yeah. So
Mhm.
the singles out, I think, on the 22nd, and then the show is on the
Oh, okay.
23rd,
Right.
which is good because 24
Mhm.
hours to learn the words and all that. Not the audience, me. Uh, but yeah, so I think that's going to be fantastic. So actually, one of
Mhm.
the people that I've worked with before, who I wrote and produced with, and he actually won a couple of awards, is an amazing Costa Rican artist called Patino. So he's going to be giving us
Oh,
some reggaeton at the beginning of the
oh,
night.
wow.
Then next up, we've got Rival Karma, who I went to music college with about 700 years ago.
Did you?
And yeah, and I mean, they're fantastic, like really nice,
Mhm.
like heavy riffs and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's just going to be a great night. I mean, the one issue with releasing every 4 weeks is the fact that getting this, choosing the set list is starting to become very tricky. Like really, really
Imagine.
tricky. Yeah, it's just wild. But I mean, I think I'm really excited to see this one, The Right Thing, live, just because there's plenty of opportunity to sing along with, obviously
Oh,
Motherfucker and all
yes.
that kind of stuff.
Oh,
And yeah, no, I'm really, really excited for it, and really excited that you're going to be coming down as well.
certainly am. I'm
So
so
yeah,
excited. I can't wait. And I will be singing along. God, it's
fantastic.
such a cathartic song, isn't it? It really is. I think I defy anyone, if you've had a bad day, to not feel so much better after listening to this track.
Oh, that's great. That's
So,
great.
so great. And tell me what else you've got coming up.
Right. So, what we've been doing with these EPs is the idea. So when we started, I think August of last year, and we released Panic, which was the first one, we had this idea that the individual artworks were going to add up to the artwork of the EP.
Yeah.
And when that happened in the end, great, very happy with that. We're going to do the same thing this time. So after The Right Thing, you'll have another 4 singles, which are, I'm really pushing the boat out, actually. So there's almost a part of me which hopes that some people really don't like a couple of the songs, because then that means, at least we're trying, So the idea is we'll do the same thing again in terms of the artwork, but all of that will culminate in an album before the end of the year. And the album will incorporate the EP artwork, the EP's artwork, and something else. So I'm really excited about that. Just getting the kind of dangerous and nerve-wracking second album out of the way,
Oh,
and I'm already thinking about album 3, actually.
you.
Yeah. I mean, I need to get these songs finished first, but I mean, even just today, I had such a good time just recording certain bits. It's just being able to kind of just do everything right here with all the various bits of kit, which I've been lucky enough to kind of get, have been fantastic. I mean,
Amazing.
for example, we work very closely with Gibson guitars, and they are just so nice to me. They let me borrow, well, just some of the best guitars to record with. So, I've been using an SG today, but prior to that, I was using a Les Paul Special. And then before that, I was using an Epiphone, and, recording on these amazing new Gibson acoustic guitars and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, with their support, it's kind of really been, I know that the quality of certain things is just going to be good because, it's just going to work, really. But, I mean, just in terms of working with various different people, I mean, working with them and with AWOL as well recently. AWOL is like a distribution platform.
Okay.
And they're part of Cobalt and Sony and all that kind of stuff. But working with our person at AWOL who's just so inspiring. Like every time we have a Zoom meeting with her or something like that, she's always just kind of like, I like this one. I really like this one. You should try doing this. You should try doing this. Which is, yeah, it's just great. It's always such a nice thing to just know that the team is behind what's happening, but also kind of confident enough to also be super honest.
Yeah.
Because, the first kind of test that any new song that I do is put through is being sent to my manager, Guy. And Guy he'll never mix his words. If he doesn't like something, he'll just say, I don't like that. Or he'll say, you need to chop that intro in half.
Softening it. Says it as it is.
And exactly. And it's just kind of knowing that it's all for the betterment of stuff and the fact that there's just I think it's dangerous to have too much of an ego, really, with these sorts of things, because you're just going to end up, just getting really hurt, Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, he's a great person to kind of run things by. And also, again, Violet, sometimes I'll play her something in its early stages because I still haven't learnt. And I know that I need to work harder. If she goes, yeah, it's good. It's not good. So
Does she
yeah.
give you that look that says, you know, what I'm saying and what I mean are two different things here?
Well, no, well, I mean, she says it's good, but it doesn't make me feel anything. That's the one which
Ah.
makes me go, ah. But then she goes, you asked. But you know, I'm always I'm very grateful to have that kind of, well, I don't know, just
That
honest
kind
stuff.
of honesty.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Yeah.
it's really important. It's important
Mm.
whenever I do
Oh, yeah,
writing sessions with anyone. I think
definitely.
it's so important to just kind of say at the beginning, you can't
Yes.
offend me. Just
No,
say whatever it is. We're all here for the song. We're all here to make that better because the song is, you know, gonna hopefully last a lot longer than all of us, really.
and I think surely as a musician, isn't that how you grow as well? I
Absolutely.
mean, we learn so much from what we don't get right, isn't it? That's the
Oh
case.
yeah.
I mean, we learn from other people and from their honesty and their opinions.
Yeah. No, 100%, 100%. And yeah, I mean, it's always nice whenever people like it. But I think what was it? Rick Rubin was with his very kind of gravelly voice was saying something about not writing things for the audience, writing it for you, and then you can kind of treat it after that. You know,
Yeah.
but it needs to come from somewhere that you actually enjoy to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
Well, I think
Yeah.
if you're going to be up there performing a song every night, you know, you've got to love it, haven't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
we've all heard those stories, haven't we, of those huge bands who refuse to play certain songs.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember over 10 years ago now, maybe 15, oh
Mm.
God, maybe even more. I think about 15 years ago, I saw Radiohead at Rock Werchter
You really?
in Belgium, and I love Radiohead. I think they're amazing. I mean, they're actually quite a big influence, but
Ah,
yeah, they didn't play any of the big ones apart from,
really?
yeah, none of them apart from Paranoid Android, which is obviously a great
Sin-
song,
Yeah.
but it's also kind of like, come
Oh,
on. Come
kind of feel a bit cheated, don't you? If you go to a big gig and you're waiting, and classically it's the encore, isn't it? So they come on and you're waiting and it doesn't happen, and you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
you just feel crestfallen, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, well, luckily it was a brilliant lineup that year. You had all of those bands like MGMT, Hot Chip, and Justice and stuff like that. They'd all just
Really?
come out at that time. Well, especially Hot Chip and MGMT.
Mm.
So I mean, there was a lot to watch. The Hives, probably the best live band
Oh,
I've ever seen.
such a great
Um,
band.
oh my God, and just the songs are great. They are
Yeah.
just superheroes, aren't they? Really?
Oh, totally, totally.
Yeah.
So
And
who
Mika.
really,
Mika was great.
really?
Yeah, yeah, Mika was really good. Yeah.
Wow. So who inspires you musically, Jim?
Oh, wow. Favorite band of all time, probably because it's what was always playing in the back of my parents' car
Mhm.
when we were going anywhere, is the Beatles.
Really?
Yeah,
Favorite track?
I can never choose, but the one which always
Mhm.
stays, not because I think it's the best,
Mhm.
but because I think there must be some kind of nostalgic feeling, is probably All My Loving, I think.
Oh,
But then, you know, you hear In My Life and that beginning bit, and then you feel
mm.
like you're watching a film of your own life. But
Oh,
I don't know. It's impossible, isn't it, to kind of
it
pick.
is.
But I mean, I've always loved all of the music from that time, like the Kinks and Beach Boys and all that kind of stuff. But then, you know, outside of music, because when I'm not doing Electric Enemy, I'm doing, it could be super duper
Yeah.
pop, basically. So I always have
Yeah.
to kind of study the charts and make sure I'm
Mm.
kind of read up on all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But when I'm not in that zone, and maybe if I'm just doing like a bit of exercise or something, it's normally disco and French house
Is
music.
it?
Oh, I love ABBA. I love ABBA, Casey
Do
and the Sunshine
you?
Band, all of that stuff. It's just great music. And also, I believe my theory is that every album ever has one disco track on it. Even if it doesn't sound like it's fully disco, it's
Hidden
disco.
away.
It is. It is. I mean, it's kind of like the was it the third Royal Blood album? That's just disco.
Mm.
It's full on
It
disco.
is so disco.
Yeah. All of
Because it's a
it. Like
great
they even do the
album.
clap clap and all that stuff. It's
They
like
do, they absolutely do. And
brilliant.
so far removed from their early stuff, it's like they kind of said, now we're famous enough to do a bit of disco. We'll just pop that in there.
Yeah, no,
We can
exactly.
get
I
away
mean,
with it now.
yeah, for sure. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I think you can kind of get inspiration from anywhere really. I mean, even when
Yeah.
I'm cooking or whatever, it's normally
Mm,
like the Buena Vista Social Club or like some kind of like Latin music or something. Just I don't know. It's I mean, I love classical music. Like
mm.
my mum is a massive fan of all that kind of stuff. So there was always music. There was just always music playing, whether it was kind of the Beatles, Otis Redding, or
Mm.
all that other kind of stuff. Really,
So you were inspired right from the very beginning.
I think so. Yeah, I think one of my earliest memories is just being. I don't know why I had a salt shaker in the back of the car, but I would
As
have
you
been
do.
really young. Yeah, I know. Like maybe I just like stole it from a house or a restaurant or something. But yeah, I just remember hearing "Love Me Do" and just kind of just nodding along and shaking and just kind of thinking, "This is brilliant! Wow! Like this just sounds like happiness." You
Oh,
know?
I think it is, isn't it? The Beatles, they are happy music,
Yeah,
and who doesn't love a bit of happiness? All
absolutely. And then,
honesty.
and in the same breath, obviously
Hmm.
the darkness is just as important. Like Radiohead exit music for a
Hmm.
film or something like that. That's
Yeah.
just, I mean, yeah, just brilliant. But I don't know. I think that there is actually a lot of good music out there at the moment,
Mhm.
from all sorts of different artists of all sorts of different styles. I think the UK kind of maybe needs to think about opening up the horizons to the rest of the world other than America. Because I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at the global charts, for example,
Mhm.
it's 50% of it is either Latin or Korean. And it's just,
Is it?
yeah. And it's kind of like anywhere outside of the UK, you can say to someone just like, I mean, she's a lot bigger now, but have you heard of Rosalia?
I have.
Yeah. But a couple years ago here, people would be like, nah. But you could go to
No.
France, you could go to Spain,
Mm.
you could go anywhere, and they'd say, yeah, she's massive, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I don't know. I think things will change, but you know, as long as there's, it's just all about the melodies, isn't it? As long
Yeah.
as there are good melodies, we'll all be fine.
Absolutely. As long as we can sing along, we're all happy.
Exactly, exactly.
And just going back to your artwork, you the artwork, you produced it in a very special way, didn't you? A very unusual way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not. It was a bit controversial in a way, isn't it? I mean, we inputted a whole bunch of information and
Mhm.
references, so everything from because I mean the first artwork, for example, is it's the face of a young, like a child, basically,
Yeah.
and kind of purposefully a little bit androgynous.
Yes.
And the idea was to have just a head exploding with ideas and all
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. I've always
Yeah.
been a massive fan of Studio Ghibli and various anime things,
Ah,
and
really?
yeah, I love it. Honestly, those films just they're just therapy. They really are. Um, but yeah, so we actually used AI basically to kind of help us out, which I know that there's going to be a lot of kind of thinking of just like, well, you're taking away a job from someone, and that there is an element of that, but it was kind of the thing that we needed for
Mm.
all of these things to kind of make sense because they kind of needed to take on a life within themselves. But I am looking forward to working with some human graphic designers and stuff like that. I think that will be great, and especially for the album, it's going to be
Mm.
the idea is we're kind of in this world with the
Mm.
AI and all that kind of thing, but the album artwork, when it is revealed, kind of takes us out and back into reality, basically.
Wow.
So there is a theory to the madness.
It sounds great. Can you tell us anything about the new album? Anything at all? Or is it all closely under wraps?
No, yeah, I could tell you some stuff. I mean, it's it will be majoritively made up of these two EPs because there's
Hmm.
a story and there's a theme throughout the whole thing. There's actually like a classical theme which you hear at the end of Panic, and which I kind of tried to put everything together in the end of the last EP. There was a song called You, and at the very end I took elements from all of the previous 4 songs and kind of added it in like a, what's it called? Is it like an overture? It's not a prelude. It's the one where, you know what I mean? It's the one where they put it all together at the end. Yeah, so
I get it.
like that.
Couldn't tell you what it's called, but I get it.
yeah, exactly. All the right notes. But basically, just trying to get all of the various ideas and the themes to kind of make sense together. So in this second EP, we're growing up, and in the kind of final album situation, we're going to be taking all of it, putting it together. There'll be a couple of album tracks. I might even, I've been toying with the idea, because I try to keep all of my songs under 3 minutes generally. I might do an album track which is like, I don't know, like 15 minutes or something.
no Bohemian Rhapsody for you.
yeah. I mean, well, yeah. Oh wow. I mean, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Bat
That'd
Out of
be great.
Hell.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, a bit of Bat Out of Hell and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I kind of want to just explore different areas and make sure that we're still touching on the usual stuff that you can kind of rely on Electric Enemy to talk about. Just miserable stuff. Ultimately, very depressing stuff.
You're not selling it, Jim.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. But I mean, it's funny though, isn't it? Because it's like sometimes when you are feeling super down, you want to have that kind of song which isn't necessarily kind of like bring me sunshine. It's something to almost just make you just be in the emotions, but
something cathartic, something you can relate to.
Exactly. And I kind of think rock music as well in particular, and I think my favorite bands out there, so like Muse, Queens of the Stone Age, Royal Blood, I mean, and also some other bands like Cleopatra and Tiger Cub, who are kind of smaller than those big ones, but still actually doing really well. I love the fact that sometimes like a riff, and I don't condone violence or anything like that, it kind of makes you want to punch someone in the face. Do you know what I mean? It just makes you kind of
that fight.
Flip a table, you know, smash a glass, and kind of Patrick Swayze comes in and it's Roadhouse. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think the whole, like, whether it's good or bad, it's just hopefully people will feel things. That's all that I can really hope for, to be honest. Just to provoke a reaction, whether it's good or bad, you know. But I'm very proud of all the stuff that's come out so far. Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad that The Right Thing is the song kicking off this next kind of era.
And we've got an exclusive, haven't we? The Right Thing as well, here on My
Yes,
Global Mind. We are very, very excited about it.
Yeah.
Playing it to death. It is so good.
Thank
I
you.
think your fans are going to be blown away by it. And I'm sure it's going to open you up to a new audience as well. Because it's big, so solid, so ballsy and strong. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. No, I mean, it's always, there's the fear of kind of releasing things every time. And I kind of never want that to go, really, you know, because I think once you put something out and you just feel comfortable with it, you've probably lost the war, you know.
Well, I mean, surely that kind of fear, isn't that what makes it feel so good when it comes together and when you get such a great response and, you know, it hits Spotify and everyone goes for it? Isn't that what makes it so great?
Yeah, no, I really think so. I think, I mean, because we've been fortunate enough to be put on quite a few Spotify playlists over the years, and Amazon playlists and Deezer and Apple. And every time it's not kind of like just like, okay, good, we've got another one. It's like, you know, it's a punch the sky moment. It's because nothing is necessarily, you know, anything could end at any moment.
Of course it could.
So it's the whole kind of seizing the emotion of the day and celebrating while you can with some reduced Tesco's Prosecco.
As all musicians do.
Absolutely. Very important. Club
They
card
all
prices,
pretend, don't they? They
fantastic.
all pretend they're on the hard stuff, but let's be honest, we all know the truth.
This is I'm currently enjoying a lovely Heineken Zero, actually.
Very
But
nice.
very blurry there, but that's pretty good. Yeah, some real censoring going on there. It could be any zero beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But always good for the sponsorship deals, keeping your options open.
I mean, yeah, we're open to that. Absolutely.
I love what you were saying earlier about being supported by Gibson. That must be like, having the keys to the toy shop, just being able to
Yeah.
go, can I borrow this? And them going, okay then.
It's
just be the best thing in the world.
It is. It's honestly, it's mad because you go in there and you see all of these incredible guitars, and I mean, so Gibson also run and look after Kramer, the brand. So Kramer is the shredding kind of guitar brand and like very kind of metal. And Gibson very kindly used one of our tracks, Therapy, the instrumental, to kind of promote the Kramer brand, and I think they used it at some of the big festivals when they were kind of playing it on the big screens. And actually, I mean, touching on Therapy, actually, another thing which has been really cool over the past couple of years is just having certain songs put in games and adverts and little bits and pieces like that. But there's a thing called BeatStar, which is like Guitar Hero but on your mobile phone. And yeah, it's sent a lot of people our way, and
it's brilliant.
It's fantastic, honestly. Just just feel really fortunate with that. But I mean, I get it. It's an angry song. Yeah. There's a radio presenter called John Williams from something called What Was That Radio, and he's based out in Canada, an English bloke, he's lovely. And he told me that Therapy is when he's had a really bad day, he just parks the car, turns it on full volume, and apparently just screams through the whole thing. And he's, gets out and kind of like a bag of chips from RuPaul's Drag Race. Much better,
Well, how lovely is that? You just think you make his day so much better.
Yeah.
He has a bad day, he comes home and he totally decompresses to Therapy.
I know, right? I mean, because I think, so there's Therapy 1, there's Therapy 2. So I don't know, maybe there should be a Therapy 3 at some point.
Maybe
bring it back. Or I don't know. I mean, at what number does it start to get excessive? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Like we don't want to do the Star Wars thing. Like the first 3 were great.
I was going to say Star Wars.
It's like leave out Anakin. We don't need that. Thanks, Jar Jar.
No one needs that. Now, how can your fans find out about you? And how can they get tickets?
Yes,
for the gig on the 23rd of March.
Absolutely. So the tickets are available on Dice. So if you type in Electric Enemy, you will be able to see it. But also, if you follow Electric Enemy on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, I'm trying, and just whatever social media that you personally enjoy using. I mainly spend most of the time humiliating myself on Instagram. So yeah, no, it's good fun, that. So at Electric Enemy, yeah, if you just follow there, and then there's a link tree in every single place, so you'll be able to get to the music. You'll be able to pre-save the right thing. Please pre-save the right thing. That would be amazing. And yeah, you'll be able to get tickets. And on Facebook, for example, there's also a fan page that was set up by Claire and Sarah, who are kind of the heads of the fan page. They are, yeah, I mean, and I theirs, honestly. It's and there's a fan page there where the guys can kind of just talk and compare music and just kind of just make friends, really, which is really great. There's like a real community and quite a family,
That's so amazing. And you've got a website as well, haven't you? electricenemy.co.uk.
Yes, there is that as well. And but again, yeah, on the link tree you get absolutely everything. Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, it's been so great speaking to you today, Jim. It really has. And I am so excited about your gig on the 23rd at the Old Blue Last in Shoreditch. I shall see you then, but thank you so much.
No,
You
thank
take
you so
care.
much. I had a great time. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Talk to you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Heavy metal rock.
Global mind.